Imagine this can only happen in African democracy. Tell me, where else? A leader who has clung to power for over 4 decades, refusing to step down even as his country crumbles around him. At 91 years old, Cameroon's President Paul Biya has confirmed that he will run for yet another term in 2025, when he will be 93, which means, if successful, this would be his 8th term in office, potentially extending his rule until 2032, when he would be 100 years old. Now, to put that in perspective, Paul Biya has been the president of Cameroon for an unprecedented 42 years. This is a man who has ruled Cameroon since 1982, making him Africa's longest-serving president. Yet, instead of stepping aside to allow the younger generation to take the reins, Biya is determined to hold on, insisting that he is the only capable leader in Cameroon. But is this leadership, or is it tyranny? Should we still call this a true democracy or a monarchy government? Let's not forget the last time Biya ran for office in 2018. He wasn't even in the country. He was on medical tourism in France, a country that has long been accused of meddling in African affairs to protect its own interests.
If you ask the president of Cameroon where he would want to celebrate his birthday, he'll possibly tell you Paris, and he does. If you ask somebody from Angola, they would possibly tell you Lisbon. If you ask somebody from Nigeria, or holding all factors constant, where they would want to be, London. If you ask somebody from La Côte d'Ivoire, Paris, Democratic Republic of Congo, Bruxelles, we are mentally captured. We are mentally captured, and until the day we decolonize our minds, we will do all the things that we want to do, but we will never realize our potential.
How can a leader who allegedly spends so much time abroad, away from the very people he claims to serve, truly understand the needs and challenges of his nation? And yet, the French government, ever so silent, has never labeled him a dictator. Why? Because he serves their interests, maintaining the status quo that benefits them while his own people suffer. Africa. What evidence do you still need? Here is a preacher who took the gospel of Africa to the street of Paris, demanding that France respect and leave Africa.
Parce que la France n'a pas le carburant, parce que la France n'a pas le cacao, parce que la France n'a pas l'uranium. Vous allez plus reconnaître cette France-là, parce que la France dépend de l'Afrique et on ne respecte pas les Africains. Voilà le message que je voulais faire passer ici. Respectez les Africains que vous voyez. Ne rentrez pas dans ce jeu-là. Dans ce jeu-là où on vous dit qu'il y a trop d'immigrés. Ne rentrez pas dans ce jeu-là où on vous dit que le bouc émissaire c'est l'immigré. C'est l'Afrique qui nourrit la France. C'était une vérité que je vous dis. Et ça vient pas de moi. Ça vient de Chirac. Chirac a dit, sur les 1 euro que vous avez dans votre portefeuille, 60 centimes, c'est l'argent des Africains. C'est ça la vérité. Et donc respectez l'Africain. La France qui se lève tôt, elle est noire. La France qui se lève tôt, elle est noire. Elle se couche tard, elle est noire. Là aujourd'hui, merci. Là aujourd'hui, le Mali, le président du Mali, il s'appelle Emmanuel Macron. On a divisé un pays, le Mali. Les gens, les Maliens de leur propre pays ne peuvent plus aller même à Kidal. Et nous disons non. On appelle la jeunesse africaine de rester déterminée. De rester déterminée jusqu'à la libération véritable de l'Afrique. Et nous accueillons tout partenaire qui viendra avec le respect. Nous respecter, un respect digne de ce nom. Lorsqu'ils vont respecter les Africains, nous l'accueillerons. Que ce soit la Chine, que ce soit la Russie, nous l'accueillerons. Voilà le message que nous voulons faire passer. Et la France doit comprendre cela. La France doit comprendre cela avant de perdre tout. Voilà, merci.
Leave Africa. This was shortly before AES countries booted France out of the Sahel region. Now, listen, as this will shock you. Do you know immediately Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso chased out France out their country? Benin Republic gave them land to build new military bases. These are where the issues lies in Africa. Brothers snitching on each other. Now, the French authorities have decided to prevent Benin and Togo from having ground support aircraft and technical intelligence means. In this way, the defense of the two countries will be in French hands. This French decision even involves blocking payments for arms whose orders have been placed with non-NATO arms sellers. While Patrice Talon of Benin has been in office for a total of 8 years and 4 months, and still counting, Biya's announcement has sparked outrage among the opposition in Cameroon. Many argue that at his age, it's time for Biya to step down and allow a new generation to lead. But the opposition may not even get a chance to contest. Reports suggest that opposition politicians could be barred from running, leaving Biya virtually unchallenged. To make matters worse, Biya has also postponed the parliamentary and municipal elections until 2026, citing a crowded political calendar. Critics argue this is a strategic move to consolidate power further and eliminate any potential threats to his reign. But what does this mean for Cameroon and Africa as a whole? Some see Biya's extended rule as a stark example of the president for life syndrome, a trend where leaders refuse to relinquish power. This trend is seen across the continent, from Uganda's Yoweri Museveni to Equatorial Guinea's Teodoro Obiang. The irony is that Biya, despite his long tenure, has done little to develop the country's infrastructure. Cameroon lacks quality hospitals, which forces its aging leader to go on medical tourism to France. This practice not only drains the country's resources, but also highlights a failure to invest in local health care. Then, there's the question of foreign influence. Thanks to countries like Niger and BurkinaFaso, whom have taken bold steps to reclaim their sovereignty, these nations have expelled foreign powers and are charting their own course, refusing to be puppets of the West. Meanwhile, not all nations follow this path. The recent decision by Benin to offer land to France for military bases showcases the divided approach within the continent. Across the continent, leaders who refuse to relinquish power often do so under the guise of stability and continuity. Yet, the consequences are far-reaching. With no succession plan in place, countries like Cameroon could face severe political crises once these long-term leaders are no longer in power. This quote rings true for many African leaders today. But hey, in Burkina Faso, Traoré is rewriting the script on leadership. He is rejecting the old ways of corruption, where leaders are more concerned with their personal wealth than with the welfare of their citizens. Unlike many other African leaders who, upon assuming office, immediately approve the purchase of luxury vehicles like the Toyota Land Cruiser for themselves and their cronies, Traoré has made it clear that no one in Burkina Faso will drive exotic vehicles on the public's dime. If a politician wants a luxury car, they can pay for it themselves. Every penny of public funds in Burkina Faso is going towards projects that benefit the people. Just as we have mentioned several projects and development taking place in Burkina Faso in our previous videos, this new parliament building cannot be left out. The new parliament building, designed not by a foreigner but by a talented Burkinabe architect, Diebedo Francis Kéré, isn't just a building. It's a bold statement of transparency and accessibility. It's designed as a pyramid that you can climb, play on, and visit freely. It will house not only government functions, but also serve as a public space, a park, and even a venue for agriculture, with a cornfield right on top of the pyramid. This building isn't just about politics, it's about community, culture, and sustainability, a place where the people of Burkina Faso can gather, celebrate, and discuss their future under the symbolic shelter of the palaver tree, a traditional place of dialogue in many African communities. Did you even hear about the surprising move involving Ibrahim Traoré? He recently canceled trip to China for his participation in the Forum on China-Africa. Cooperation, FOCAC. scheduled for September 4th to 6th in Beijing to focus on a groundbreaking development back home in Burkina Faso. Unlike others,
the Chinese president summons all our presidents, and they summon them. The letters may be polite, but it's summons. They go to Beijing, tails between their legs.
Like this is not enough, Traoré initiated groundbreaking project called the Armed Forces Industrial Complex in Bobo Dioulasso, aimed at transforming the country's economic landscape. Known as Tex Forces BF, this facility will focus on producing professional clothing and accessories, starting with military and police uniforms and expanding to include apparel for firefighters, customs officers, and civil society organizations. This is a strategic move to capitalize on Burkina Faso's vast cotton production by processing it locally instead of exporting raw cotton and re-importing expensive finished goods. The significance of Tex Forces BF lies in its potential to change the economic dynamics of Burkina Faso. You know, traditionally, Burkina Faso has been a major cotton exporter, but this has not translated into substantial economic growth for the country. But now, by establishing Tex Forces BF, Traoré aims to create local jobs, reduce reliance on imports, and stimulate the economy by keeping more of the value chain within the country. This approach is intended to make Burkina Faso more self-reliant and economically robust, as local manufacturing can lead to cost savings, innovation, and an increase in domestic employment. Remember, he's doing a lot more in just 2 years, not 42 years. See, the establishment of Tex Forces BF is not just about economic growth, but also about ensuring that the benefits of Burkina Faso's natural resources, such as cotton, directly contribute to the country's development. By manufacturing goods locally, Burkina Faso can enhance its industrial base, reduce dependency on foreign goods, and foster a more sustainable economic model that could serve as a blueprint for other African nations. In addition, the project is seen as a catalyst for broader industrial development. If successful, Tex Forces BF could pave the way for more industrial initiatives in Burkina Faso and potentially inspire similar movements across Africa. This could lead to increased economic independence for many African nations, who could follow Burkina Faso's example in leveraging their natural resources for domestic growth rather than export. Another most significant project is the reopening of West Africa's largest brewery and beverage factory, which has been dormant for over a decade. This massive facility, originally launched in 2004, was once a powerhouse of the industrial sector in West Africa, spanning over 100 hectares and including a mineral water production section, a sugar refinery, and an expansive brewery. At its peak, the factory, known as Brasco, provided over 600 direct jobs and more than 7,500 indirect jobs for suppliers, transport services, and other related industries. The factory's sudden closure in 2008 was a major blow to the economy. The owner declared a failure to inject more funds into the facility, despite a 2015 restructuring effort that allocated over 15 billion CFA francs to revive its operations. However, these plans were thwarted by insurgency and instability in several regions of Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is also experiencing a major push in agriculture, another cornerstone of Traoré's development plan. When Traoré came into power, he immediately invested in 400 tractors, 600 trailers, numerous bags of fertilizers, and advanced irrigation machines to revolutionize agriculture. Now, he's taking it to the next level with international partnerships. Recently, there was a high-level meeting between Burkina Faso's government and Germany to discuss further agricultural advancements. The German government has promised to support Burkina Faso in becoming a hub for agriculture in West Africa, providing more machinery and irrigation equipment to enhance productivity. The collaboration between Burkina Faso and Germany signifies a new era of agricultural development. The two countries have agreed to open other fields of cooperation, including education and training for Burkina youth in Germany, further strengthening their strategic partnership. The German ambassador expressed his country's willingness to continue supporting Burkina Faso and emphasized the need for improved dialogue to adapt to the realities on the ground. President Ibrahim Traoré is not just opening the doors to economic development, he's flinging them wide open. His vision for Burkina Faso is clear: a thriving, diversified economy that leverages both its industrial and agricultural potential. The nation is on the rise, and the world is watching closely. Africa's best days are ahead of us if we choose leaders who put the people first.